Hello, beautiful people. I am, well, how about that? See how that goes. Nice to be with you. And the question I'm asking today is, what can we be together to create change? And it's very interesting if you do a lot of Instagram, which I don't do nearly as... Ooh. I'll just be like this. Okay. Many things are changing, including my tripod. Not quite sure what's going on there. We'll figure it out, hopefully, by the end of today's, Instagram Live. But if you look at Instagram right now, I think it's great because, some movie executive, music executives that are African-American decided that it would be a cool idea to have people have black screens so people could actually listen to the voices that might have a different possibility of what to say and what to speak to. And I think it's cool. I think that's one of the elements of the movement of consciousness that's actually available. For those of you that don't know, I did a Facebook Live yesterday. It's dealing with a similar subject. And I wanted to come here to IG and talk to you guys because we have a unique possibility, my friends, to truly change the face of our planet and how we interact with each other. And if I'm assuming you have to know by now what is going on, because we tend to have a way of getting awareness of different things. But with the death of George Floyd, an African-American man, where the white officer, of course, was on his neck and basically suffocated him, even though he tried to, say, hey, I can't breathe. So I'm catching those of you up who don't know why there's so much of this stuff going on. But see, when I look at that, I don't see a black man and a white police officer. I see a person who had an officer who has a bunch of hatred and racism and all kinds of stuff, and absolutely all kinds of stuff, all the stuff going on. And I see a beautiful being who's there, like this man going, hey, not involved in this at all. And it gets made into a race issue. And you can look at that and you go, rightfully so, based on history, based on hundreds, thousands of years of doing this thing back and forth. But what I'm here to say is it's not about black, brown, white. It's not about people of color versus white people or people of less color. Even though I say, again, white is a color, okay? And even me having this conversation as somebody who has white skin, a lot of people of color would go, well, you don't understand. And it's like, actually, I do, okay? I lived in the ghetto where I was literally the only white face for at least 8 square miles. Like, there was not another one except me and my mom. That was it. And I got beaten up for being white. I got beaten up for supposedly having money and being from privilege, even though I didn't have any money. I didn't know what privilege was. And this is when I was a little kid. And but even then, I didn't go, ooh, black people are bad and black people are wrong and brown people are bad and brown people are wrong. I went, it doesn't have to be this way. And so I think some of these things get sparked in the world when the world is asking for something different. But what we've got to do is we've got to be that which looks at it not from the division and the history of division and the rightness of one side and the wrongness of another. Let's put it this way, okay? There are a lot of people in the world that are racist, sexist, bigots, that are black, white, brown. People of all colors are that. And there are a lot of us that are not, okay? So It's kind of similar to the Me Too movement in a way. And let me tell you what I mean by that. And what I mean by that is, for me as a man, seeing what seeing what went on against women in the name of men, supposedly, as though these were men that were doing this, women don't realize that I'm even more outraged, or at least equally as outraged, because all of this was done as though it was done in my name because I happen to be a man. So it's the same thing. It's like looking what was done to George Floyd. That outrages me also. And I'm not one of these people that's like, I can claim it outrages me as much as it does you. But I do understand the history and the dynamics and all of that. And what I'm saying is, let's elevate the conversation. Let's elevate the conversation to something that will truly create change. Because we can stay down here in the trauma and drama as long as we want to, but that doesn't create change. If I'm fighting you, you're fighting me, or you're fighting somebody and they're fighting you, that's the same shit we've had forever, okay? Let's instead ask, what can I be? And what can I do that will actually create the world I would like to see now and in the future? Everything that doesn't allow that, we destroyed and created. Woo! Including losing you on my little setup tripod here. Oh boy. Woo. So, what can I be and what can I do that allow me to actually create the change in the world now and in the future I would like to see? Everything that is, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And so, guys, let me, I don't know if I've said as much as I quite wanted to say on that, actually, but we've got to get over the idea that it's white people and brown people and black people that are doing this. No, there are assholes in the world, and nobody likes them except other assholes, okay? What comes out of an asshole? Shit and farts. That's it, okay? We need to acknowledge there are assholes in the world. It's not based on the color of their skin. And do we have a lot of this stuff? I'm going to try to get better in frame here. Do we have a lot of this stuff that's going on that has been, the idea of white people here and people of color down here and all that? Yeah. Let's change that too. That's it's a part of the conversation. But until we can get that is not the fundamental conversation, we don't have a chance to change the conversation. We don't have a chance to change what actually can occur. So what I'd like to do with you guys, and hello everybody, I haven't been looking at comments at all. I have been a little intense with this because I see a possibility for changing our world right now. And sometimes I feel like I may be the only one. And if you want more on this from sort of a slightly different place, check out the Facebook Live that I did yesterday. And there were some very many things. So part I would like to do is give you guys some tools. And they're actually these tools of Access Consciousness, which are, if you've done Access Consciousness, they're the tools you get in the very beginnings of Access Consciousness. And those are actually the things I use on a daily basis to sort of navigate reality, but also see what I can do to change it. I like it. Don't cry, please. I sort of can't not. Like, guys, we've got... It's not what it looks like. It's not what people are telling us it is. My sense is this is occurring because we have asked for a greater world to show up. And it never shows up the way you think it's going to. So let me say one other thing that I've got in my awareness that I really want to put into your awareness also. And, see how it goes for you. And that is, geez, I need to learn to flick faster. And that is that the one thing that will change everything is consciousness and more awareness. Now, you have something like when I'm with George Floyd, at the same time that people have been so stressed about Corona. So they've been living in a pressure cooker for months. And then this thing blows off the pressure cooker. And I gotta say, it's interesting because if you don't know, most of the protests that are going on are actually peaceful. And not only that, but they're actually creating this amazing stuff where people are coming together and hugging each other and going, hey, you know, like, I don't remember where it was, but these cops in somewhere, the one cop is like, hey, we love you guys. We're cops and we love you guys. To the community around them, a lot of them, they were black, white, brown, all of them. They're like, we love you guys. And that cop over there, he hugs everybody, so watch out. He said, but rather than a protest, I'd like to turn this into a parade. And I was like, dude, yes, that. And Megan sent that to me. And maybe, Megan, if you're on, you can post it here. I know a lot of other people had this other meeting. But see, that's the whole deal is, guys, if we let ourselves be defined and separated based on color, based on anything, we're all citizens of this planet. And you know, my friend Kalpana Raguraman, she has very dark skin, and she talked about, you know, with this comes up, and she talked about, you know, having had this discrimination against based on the color of her skin. And I'm like, hey, I recognize that. And she said that, and it was like, and she's like, but still, I'm looking for possibilities. I'm not going to let this define me. I'm not going to let this limit me. I'm not going to let it stop me. So what I wonder is, what do you know is possible beyond all of this shit that other people are saying is the necessary shit that you've got to hold on to and that you've got to somehow make real? Everything that doesn't allow you to perceive the possibilities that are within this, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. One other thing, so many of the protests that are going on are not only peaceful, but contributory. And then there are a few assholes who come in and start looting and burning and stealing and all that sort of stuff. But aren't there a few assholes everywhere? I mean, really? But what the news wants to focus on is the burning and the looting and the stealing. They don't want to focus on the fact that the cops were there with the people and the people were giving them hugs and they were just there together. So my question is, what do you know is possible that is beyond all of this? What awareness do you have? And what secret sort of like, I don't know, it almost may seem like a childlike desire or something where you're like, I just want us all to be happy and get along and have a good time and love each other and care for each other. Well, guess what? Are you aware that energy, that request is actually a contribution to everybody? Because if you know that's possible and you ask for it, you're part of creating it in the world. So my question again is, what is it you know is possible that you haven't acknowledged is of even value, that if you asked for it now, would allow us to create it as our world? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. You know, it's interesting because, you know, so many of the times I get to just get on with you guys and talk about whatever. Like, some of you were part of the Hello India takeover, which was just wonderful. And in this case, like, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you at least a piece of what I'm aware of as possible. And because I don't sit here and live in the drama and the trauma, even though lots of people try to get me to go there. You know, like I was with one guy out at our ranch. He's like, you need to see this post. People are threatening to kill other people and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, I actually don't. Thank you. It's not a reality I'm going to create. It's not a reality I'm going to function from. And it's not from burying my head in the sand, but it's because my awareness is, and where I'm willing to live, the energy I'm willing to live as is, what else is actually possible? So that's really my question, is what else is actually possible? And so what I'm trying to do with this is a, you know, it's a bit of an intense time here on beautiful planet Earth. And my question again is, what do you know is possible that's beyond all this? you know there's something possible. There's no way you'd be on this live right now if you didn't know there was something else possible. Unless you were just like, Dr. Dain's on, I'm going to check him out, which maybe there too, which is cool. Happy to contribute to you that way too. But what is it you know is possible? That if you contributed it to the mix, it would make the world greater for all of us and end this stupid shit people are doing all around the world as though that is the only possibility. Everything that is, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay, let me put it in a slightly different way for you. Anytime you fight for or fight against, you are the effect of whatever you're fighting. Okay? What? Anytime you fight for or fight against, you're the effect of whatever you're fighting. So what if we could end the fight now, my beautiful friends? And instead, end the fight and start to invite possibilities into our world. So everything you've been doing to try to align and agree with the fighting, or to resist and react to the fighting, or to get afraid, or to bury your head in the sand where you destroy and uncreate it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and men. It's interesting. There's, 600 and some of you right now. And my sense is there's probably more of you being translated in different languages right now. Because it feels like a lot more than 600 and some people on. So it's interesting to try to address the things as you believe them to be for that many people, but then also to try to, without having anybody feel left behind or separate, to go, hey, here's what I'm aware of. So let's look at this for a moment, okay? Back in the 60s, we had JFK, who was doing his best to create a different world for people. And not doing it perfectly by any means, okay? But he was assassinated. We had Martin Luther King, who was doing his best to create a different world. And he was assassinated, okay? And you know, a lot of people go, well, he was trying to create a different world for black people. He was trying to create a different world for everybody, okay? Because it's once again, it's not black and white. And I don't know if crying is my best choice here, but I'm not going to stop it, and probably couldn't if I wanted to. Guys, this is our world. This is our world. We live here. We all share this planet together. It doesn't matter what your fucking color is. And so then we had Bobby, who was about to be nominated for and he was assassinated also. And one of the things that I've read some stuff about this era, and I've read some stuff about what a lot of brilliant people have said. And one of the things they said was, after Bobby was assassinated, it's basically like the entire nation, kind of like the entire world, gave up hope. And since the corona started, my sense is we changed tracks to a different possibility. And my question is, would you be willing now to please rekindle the hope? Okay? Would you be willing to rekindle the hope of possibilities for us to walk together arm in arm, brown, black, green, white, doesn't fucking matter your color, doesn't matter your sex, doesn't matter your sexual orientation or your religion. Everybody is included. And let's face it, there are some haters out there, but you know what? That's okay. Don't let the voices of hatred stop you. Don't let the voices of hatred limit you. And do not ever change you for what someone else is not willing to change. Do not ever change what you know is possible for the possibility somebody else cannot yet see. If you be it and they have the possibility, they will eventually see it, or they won't. But if you are willing to be it and you are willing to go, even if it seems like it's alone right now, if you're willing to go and you're willing to go alone, at least you can go. Okay? And what I see as required right now, what I see as actually what actually creates actualizable, meaning change that shows up. What I see that creates actualizable change is if we're actually truly willing to be the leaders that we can be. What is a leader? Not somebody who has followers, from my point of view. Is somebody who knows what they know and knows that they know and is willing to go even if nobody else is willing to go. There's a lot of really courageous people who have been here. It's like we're focusing on the color of the wrapping paper and lighting about it and fighting about it rather than opening up the gift of the possibility on the inside. Exactly. Okay. What is it you know is possible? So let's try this. Let's use a little bit of access consciousness. See, one of the things we have, okay, so many things to say. My ADHD is going off big time. So a few things, I'm just not sure quite how to put them in order. One of the things we have in access consciousness is this thing called a clearing statement that allows us to take any point of view or any limitation and undo it by going to the point of creation of wherever we created it without having to use visualization or whatever. We just do it. Okay? Pardon me, I need a sip. Because I want to use that, and I also want to like to speak to you guys about the awareness that I have. The awareness that there is about what it actually takes to change all of this. And I'll do that, and then I will be out of here so you can go live your life and change the world. Maybe enjoy it a little bit. It's not what it looks like. Thank you for speaking it all out. Thank you. Goodness, guys. Okay, we got to do more in addition to this live. I'm just not sure what it will be yet, but we will. I have been in other venues. Okay, hopefully my little tripod will be good on that. Okay. So first, all the possibilities you're aware of that you know should exist, that you've sort of given up hope on because nobody else seemed to get it and nobody else seemed to see it. Will you destroy and uncreate everything you've done to believe that they cannot exist, and to believe that they have to show up in a linear way that other people get, and to not recognize that they will show up in a magical, miraculous, phenomenal way that only you may perceive, and maybe not even you. Because if you choose, there's this way of allowing the universe to contribute to creating change that is absolutely phenomenal. Everything that is times a godzillion. We destroy and create it, please. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So, I like that. What would it take for the news to say enough and change their coverage to feed the wolf of light and consciousness and no longer focus on those who are doing the trauma and the drama? You know what? Be great if the world news did, but what if we didn't wait for them? What if we do? And what if you have way more power than every news network in the world? What if you truly functioning from that awareness of possibilities and just playing with it in your head about the possibilities that are available, the lightness you have about, you know, the cops hugging the people and like whatever the lightness is about. What if that supersedes what all the news networks are producing in the world right now. And what if that's the power we have that we haven't been willing to claim? See, the idea in this reality is you have more power when you're willing to stand up and fight against. But whether you're fighting against, tyranny, you're fighting against racism, you're fighting against oppression, you're still fighting against. The only thing that I found that actually works is fighting for possibilities. And that doesn't feel like a fight as you know it. In other words, you don't have an enemy that you're fighting against. You just have a possibility that you will not stop until that or greater shows up. So all the things that you've been trying to fight against with this situation, and all the things it makes you tap into in the world that everybody's trying to fight against, will you destroy and uncreate all that, please? So you don't have to fight against anymore? And we can just fight for possibilities? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And here's the other thing about it is, see, a lot of us have this idea that we must be like airy and fairy and sweet and light, and I could never do anything that's very intense because I want possibilities, and possibilities feel like this. Not always. Sometimes possibilities are so fucking intense, and you need to be willing to be really friggin' present and what other people would call intense, almost to the point of being scary to create possibilities. So, everywhere you decided that you just had to be a little waif-like creature, little spiritual waif-like creature smelling like patchouli and wearing tie-dye and effervescent tones and colors. Not that there's anything wrong with that, okay? But wherever you've taken away your ability to know when to call bullshit on bullshit, and to recognize that calling bullshit on bullshit is also part of the creation of possibilities. You got to be willing to have it all. Consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. Everything that is, so you destroy it and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I love it. What would it take to invite peace to all the world? Yes, please. So, if you recognize that. So, we talked about a lot of things already. One of the things I also want to put into your awareness is, guys, we have something that will change everything. And you go, Dr. Dain, do tell me what this secret weapon is that you were talking about. We have something that will change everything. Okay? Everything. It's called consciousness. And you're like, what? Consciousness is where everything exists and nothing is judged. But that doesn't mean you don't have awareness about whatever it is. Just because you're not judging it doesn't mean you don't have awareness about it. Okay? You have awareness about it, but you don't judge it. Like I see the protesters and I'm like, man, I hear you. Awesome. Cool. I see the people looting and burning and I'm like, seriously, you fucking destructive people have been around way too many fucking lifetimes. You people can just go die now. Bye-bye. Okay? And some of you are like, ooh, too much. Well, maybe. But if everything you were looking at were an interesting point of view, if everything you were looking at were an interesting point of view, and you had an awareness of a space that was beyond what currently shows up as what could actually be possible, and you were willing to be present with that space. Sorry, somebody's doing weed blowing out there. But if you're willing to be present with that space and actually ask for more of that, then do you suppose we could together create it as our world? That's what I'd like to see. But I'd also like to see a world in which we actually have the power and potency to do it. See, it's one thing to know you're powerful. It's one thing to know that, well, it's one thing to think it, I should say, actually. It's one thing to think that you're powerful. It's one thing to think about the idea that you know something different is possible and really wish you could actually be the energy of creating it. It's a totally different thing to know it and to not doubt it or doubt you anymore. Okay. This is the difference that I see when people do access consciousness and do the classes and whatever, the Zooms and all the stuff, is they go from thinking they should be powerful to knowing it, and the willingness to go, hey, I'm here, let's create change. Okay? So I'm here, you're here, let's create change. Actually, before I ever go to create change, I always ask, can we? Like, what can we contribute? And at this point, you know, there's 800 or so of us, and who knows, maybe there are others on different language lines as a possibility. And it's interesting because a lot of us would like to go, well, let's just change it. Except what you have to realize is, for the greatest gift we could have, is for the people of the world to wake up. And when I say wake up, I don't mean wake up and take a particular point of view. I mean wake the fuck up and stop burying their heads in the sand thinking we can do the same old thing and it's going to turn out just fine. Okay? The greatest gift we could actually give would be to wake the world up and get them more aware. And you got to realize that most of the people in the world, they're only willing to look for something different when things as they are fall apart. Otherwise, they're trying to hold that thing in place and make it the solidity of what is required. So I do also know that with enough of us gathered, when it's time to actually create a change, that we can actually ask for and create the change. Okay? So, well, give me another moment. We'll see if there is anything else that we might be able to do. But so, as I was saying before, and let me expand on it just a little bit more, the thing that will change everything is actually consciousness. What's consciousness? Consciousness is more awareness, but it's also where everyone and everything exists without judgment. And so it's more, consciousness is also more awareness. Like, for example, you know, if you're, I can't even think of an example right now, a really bad example, let's say, like if you're an alcoholic and you don't quite realize it, and you know, you drink and you abuse people and all this stuff, but you're so drunk you don't even know it. And then one day you wake up and you go, wow. And you become aware that you're actually an alcoholic and this has been going on, blah, 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 blah. Not that there's a judgment there, okay? Got to get the difference. But you coming to the awareness of that then allows you to see things from a totally different place. Well, how many of us have tried to be unaware aholics and impotent aholics and unmagical aholics and unmiraculous aholics? Everything that is times a godzillion. Will you destroy and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And so the whole thing is like really the one thing that can change everything is consciousness, because consciousness is also where those miraculous insights come from that are like this. If you've ever been trying to solve a problem and then you just like, okay, hold on, I'm going to take a moment, and you have a night off, you take a break, you have a drink, you have sex, you go out, play with your friends, whatever, and you come back and the next morning it's like, there it is. And there's a solution that you never saw before. That's consciousness also. Consciousness is where things work out with ease, with joy, with glory, which is exuberant expression and abundance. And so, what else is possible? Now, and so the other thing I want to leave you with is, what if we've already changed tracks? Meaning, what if we've already changed the way things have to be? It's like if we were going along this way and we all wanted something different, right? And we're going along, but it feels like the steam train is going so fast you can't stop it. What if we just went My sense is that's one of the things that's occurred is, I would say it's probably ever since the Global Foundation class that occurred back in January, is this change in tracks that has created a totally different possibility for how we can choose what we can choose. So what I'm going to ask of you is, what energy, space, consciousness, and choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can I be? Can my body and I be? To have the total awareness of possibilities and realities beyond this reality that we can choose and institute now with total ease. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay? So, what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can you be? To something that to have the total awareness of possibilities and something else that I cannot see, total awareness of possibilities and ease, joy, and glory. I truly be with total ease. Everything that doesn't allow it, we just run and create it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Now, there's an interesting thing, and I hope you notice it also, that when I get together with you guys, it's similar to when I get together on a Facebook Live. There's an energy that I can be that will acknowledge an energy that you can be that somehow changes something. But what it does, if you look at it, it changes things and your future becomes different. It's almost like with enough of not almost like, maybe it is, with enough of us actually being willing to have a different future, we create that future. And we also go forward differently into the future where we see all the riots, we see the stuff, and we go, hey, cool, what future can we actually create beyond all of this too? Because that really needs to be our question is, what future can we create? And what reality, what world can we create beyond all of this that would allow us to have the world we truly like to live in? Because I don't know about you, it's like I get to travel around the world. Now, I know some of you do also, and I know some of you would like to. Just ask. That's what I did. And it doesn't show up the way you think it's going to, and sometimes it doesn't show up as fast, and sometimes it shows up faster. But anything you actually desire, just ask. But if you'll recognize that it's like, so like I'll go to India, I'll go to Europe, I'll go to New Zealand, I'll go to Australia, I'll go to all these different places. And there's all these beautiful people in the world that are living their lives, and so many of them desire something different. So many of them desire something that's way kinder. And let's say 30 or 40% of people don't, but okay. Do you realize that with your awareness of something different, your desire for something different, your willingness to say, hey, I'm putting my hat into the pot of saying, I am going to have and contribute to the creation of a kinder, gentler, more potent, more beautiful, more wonderful, more phenomenal world. Do you realize that with one of you doing that, you negate 10,000 or maybe 100,000 of the people who want limitation because they don't have much power? That's why they're doing it in the first place. They don't have any power anyway. And they're trying to pretend they do by being more violent or being more vocal or being more hateful. People who have to be violent and yell and hateful, it's because they have no power and they know it. And they're trying to pretend that they do have power. So everything you've done to pretend also that those people have power, when there's more power in your friggin' pinky, when you actually desire and are willing to have possibilities, will you just run and create it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, so I have been sort of going on, but I do that a lot. But I wanted to, just want to come here and change the vibe, you know? Change the energy for a bit, because if that happens, then you'll look for different possibilities, and then you'll be like, oh, dude, it's possible. Let's do it. Okay, good. Okay, so here's what I'd like to do, is everything that doesn't allow you to know the possibilities exist on 3. So you gather all the energy you can, and on 3, you just fucking kill shit. I mean, you want to do solid stuff. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And on 4. So 3 changes the past. 4 creates a different future. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I know a lot of you are in a similar boat. Let us change the world. Let's create a different future. And I know a lot of you didn't even realize, you sort of thought, okay, I'm just going to focus on my own life and my own self and my own thing, and it's all about me, and I'll do my own thing, and I'll get what I want and all that sort of stuff. And maybe consider this a wake-up call that allows you to know that you can have all that stuff, that you would like whatever it is, but it doesn't have to exclude changing the world. And in fact, what I found is when it includes you, and it includes your awareness of the world, and includes the gift that you can be for the world, it gets even greater for everybody. So what if you recognize that? What if you recognize you truly could have it all from this space of this thing called the kingdom of we, in which everybody is included and no one and nothing is judged. And you don't have to exclude other people to have your thing. You don't have to make them wrong or right or whatever. You just be like, I got my thing, and my thing is actually includes the world too and the possibilities I can create. Let's go forward as an acoustic wave of possibility. Everything that doesn't allow that, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And guys, I hope you'll, well, it's like, see, I do what I do because there's actually, I don't even know how to give you the because. It is a burning damn motherfucking desire in my world, because I know there's a different world possible. And somehow I stumbled upon these tools that create it. I'm like, wow, how did I get so lucky? At a time where I was about to kill myself, okay? 20 years ago. And I know a different world is possible. I know we are magic. I know we are capable of choosing and creating something different. And it's not just talk and chatter and shit like that. It's actual fucking practical change. How do we create practical change when we're finally ready? So I call that access consciousness, okay? And it's like, call it that, call it whatever it is. But unless you know, and so my question to you is, how much do you know actualizable, practical change is available? And how much have you tried to pretend it doesn't exist because other people don't get it? And what if you allowed yourself to know it could exist, so we can all be contributed to by what you know that nobody else does, and we could actually change the motherfucking world? Let us do a tiny bit right now. By the way, everything that is, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. We're going to do a 12. A 12 is to create a reality that's never existed before. On 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whew. So if we look at these things that are going on and see them as a gift of waking people up, and recognize that our contribution energetically in this world is the gift that we give this world. Your way that you look at things energetically is your gift that you give this world. And what you don't realize is the sum total of a lot of us looking from a different energetic place is the gift of us actualizing a different world. Now is the time, my beautiful friends. Enough suffering reality. Let's create our reality. And yours is not going to be exactly the same as mine, and mine won't be exactly the same as yours or anybody else's. That's okay. Here's the deal, okay? Instead of thinking of yourself as you need to be like, so here's the deal, okay? You were not just the drop or the ocean. You were simultaneously the drop who's aware of itself as a drop, who is simultaneously aware of itself as the entire ocean. So we have a bunch of us that are these amazingly beautiful drops in the ocean, that if we allowed it, would be simultaneously aware of ourselves as the drop and the simultaneously aware of ourselves as the whole ocean, without a separation, without a diminishment of the drop perceiving itself as a drop, without a diminishment of the entire ocean perceiving itself as an ocean, without a diminishment of either one, but an actual awareness where each is made greater. This is us. What do we desire to create? What are we willing to create? What are we willing to demand? What are you willing and desiring to create? What are you willing to demand? What are you willing to demand of you to be that will change the world for all of us? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you've never demanded that of yourself before, I can understand. I had no idea. I had no fucking clue. Okay? I was a little white boy growing up in the ghetto where I was beaten up for being the color that I was. Not only that, I was abused dynamically by women as a little white boy because they wanted me to know how evil men were. So somehow I came into this world, and my very early childhood was about how wrong I was for being white, how wrong I was for being a man. And I'm really fucking grateful for those experiences, because whereas somebody else might be able to go through the world sort of blind because they're a man and because they're white and so things are supposed to be easy for them, I've never had those blinders on. But it also gives me this strange thing where other people look at me that way and they go, oh, well, you've had all this privilege and all this stuff. If somebody's looking from a place of judgment and privilege, a lot of you are looking and going, I don't get that conversation. I know. But a lot of people who have been involved in the on one end of the separation or another, whether they were made separate or chose separation, whatever, they justify it with, oh, you have privilege because of this. And for me, I've never seen that, never been that, never actually even desired that. All I've ever desired is us, to be the greatness of us. And I don't know if I've ever sort of put it that succinctly, especially not on an Instagram Live. I will say it in classes that I facilitate, but those are people who are who are there for that. Just want to say, guys, like, truly right now, the future's in our hands. And what is possible is truly beyond. Don't buy what it looks like out there. If we look, I don't know, 5, 10, 50, 100 years in the future, what is the energy that is being created? And what is the energy that we can choose? And what is the energy that if we choose it, and the awareness that if we choose it, and the power that if we choose it, changes everything for us and our world. And if we chose to finally end the separation between just us and actually get together in a sense of solidarity, not stuckness, but solidarity in the awareness that we desire something different and greater, and we are not stopping. We are going forward together energetically and creating this. We are going forward energetically together, and we will contribute energetically to people around the world that are creating more possibilities. What if that's one of the greatest gifts? Because certain people have a thing, like if you look at Greta, what's her name, with the climate change stuff and all that, and some people hated her, some people loved her, blah, 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 blah. But she had a thing that she was, quote unquote, passionate about, like truly passionate about this. And so she went forth. Well, okay, cool. I don't necessarily agree with all of her message, but I do absolutely dynamically am willing to support somebody who burns with enthusiasm for what they believe and are willing to be a leader. So energetically, I could contribute to her, even when I don't believe that that is the only way of going about what she thinks. But I also know that if she actually knew what I knew about consciousness, she would know that what she's trying to get to through climate change is actually available through consciousness. But at the same time, here's the other part, is what she's doing is available because of consciousness, and it is an element of bringing more consciousness. So all of this stuff plays together. So what if it wasn't about trying to find the right way or the right answer? What if it is no right way, no wrong answer? What if it is about the unique contribution that you can be contributing energetically to everything that will create more for all of us as the future, and you contributing that as the energy that will create the future actually creates that energetically as the future, makes it easier for the people that actually have a capacity to create a future? And what if all of us desiring to contribute to you made it easier for all the futures you desire to create? And what if it's no longer about suffering in this reality based on money, based on judgment, based on not liking yourself, based on not having enough, based on not being enough? What if it's actually the possibility right now is actually about being way more than anybody else has been willing to be, being willing to be so different and have so many possibilities available and having so much ease, joy, and glory that you actually have a sense that everything is not only okay, but getting greater all the time. That is one of the things I desire for you. Got a ton of friggin' resources to help make that happen. And me, other access facilitators, other people around the world, just follow what makes you lighter, my beautiful friends. Please, 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 let's get together again. And okay, so what specific change can we ask for? Can we, please? On 14, I'm going to ask to kill the limited points of view in the world so something else can show up. On 14 and 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 14, 15, 14, 15, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14, 15, 19, 20. Now, if you don't know what I just did some stuff to change some stuff. So if you want to do it, you can do the stuff to change some stuff too. We have all these interesting energies we play with in Access as one part of what we do. And basically, it's about creating a change. And let's do a 10. I just saw a 10. A 10 is where forget it. Just pull the energy of a 10 into your body. It's a photon wavelength energy that takes particulates and turns them into a wavelength, which is how we as beings function. On 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Whew. Anybody else waking up? I know I am. Ooh, baby. Well, my beautiful friends, truly hope today has been a contribution to you. And the other thing is, if you're doing that thing of just posting a black square on your Instagram, please do not do hashtag Black Lives Matter on that. I know that sounds like, what? What are we talking about? How did we get back there? Just because I read an article that said that, like if you do that hashtag, they're using that for other stuff. Okay, so don't do it for the black square, just so you know. Okay, guys, what else can we create together? Okay, I created this 14-day program on Facebook as a way of getting us to start creating together. And it was $14 and everybody was invited. Okay, the thing is still open and available. And I hope you know me enough by now, just if this is the first time meeting me, that this is not a friggin' commercial. There's an invitation to a space of possibility that most people on this planet have been begging for, and they don't know how to get it. Not most people. I would say about half the people have been begging for it and they don't know how to get it. Okay. You can go to, I don't know, Facebook, Dain Heer, Dr. Dain Heer. It's up there somewhere. You can go to my website, drdainheer.com. I'm putting that out there because it was one of these things I was able to do with a bunch of people where we just went, and the money is totally irrelevant. Okay. It was $14 for like 22 things. I'm bringing this up because I wasn't even going to bring it up because I figured people would tell other people about it. But if what we've done today has been of interest to you, please go check it out. Please, let's go on the friggin' journey. You're already on the journey. Just if that's lighter for you to go on that journey too, come, let's play. I adore you guys immensely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being the magic that you are. And I truly do mean that. And I don't mean it in an airy-fairy way. I mean, thank you for being the motherfucking actualizable, practical motherfucking magic that you are. And I thank us all together. Mwah. I adore you guys. Can't wait to see you soon. And be nice to see you soon in person someday. But if not, I'm happy to see you over a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live or a Zoom. And bye-bye, beautiful people. Whoo! Bye-bye.